Let's talk about something we love and something we eventually have to break up with. Our vibrators. They've been there for us. They've worked so hard. Some have lived in drawers for years. Some have tragically died mid-sesh. And some of them we just simply outgrew. But here's the question that no one is really answering. Why is it so hard to recycle your vibrator responsibly? Because tossing it in the garbage isn't just lazy, it's environmentally irresponsible. These are electronics. They contain lithium ion batteries, wiring, motors, silicone, plastics. And when they end up in landfills, those components don't just disappear. They leach chemicals, they waste valuable materials, and they contribute to e-waste pollution, which is huge right now. So we did the research, and honestly, the answer was incredibly frustrating, certainly for me, and I think for all of us. But there was no clear, safe, user-friendly system for recycling vibrators as a whole product. The only solution we were given was to take them apart yourself, separate the materials, and bring just the battery to an R4 certified facility. That doesn't make any sense to me. And that raises a bigger question. Why are we putting the burden on consumers to dismantle intimate electronics just to dispose of them properly?
This is Taboo Talk, Not Safe for Brunch. I'm Coralie from Vancouver, and I love digging deep and asking the questions no one will.
I'm Amber from Ontario. I'm blunt, cut through the fluff, and get straight to the point.
And I'm Vicky from Manitoba. I'm all about real connection because intimacy starts with trust. Let's get into it.
This is so complicated because vibrators are classified as small electronic devices, which means they contain circuit boards, internal wiring, rechargeable lithium-ion batteries, small motors, silicone or plastic casings, and when it's thrown into the regular trash, batteries can leak heavy metals. Lithium batteries can start fires, and plastics spread down into microplastics. Silicone takes a decade to degrade, so yes, they absolutely should be recycled, but here's where it gets messy because unlike your phone or laptop, vibrators aren't designed with easy disassembly in mind, which means batteries are often sealed inside, materials are fused together, safe separation isn't simple or accessible, and e-waste facilities are equipped to handle electronics, but not all are set up to process intimate devices, especially when batteries are embedded. So while the system exists, it's not exactly designed for this category of product. And I just want to say where I live in British Columbia, we do not have to disassemble our vibrators. We don't have to. We can throw them in the recycling, in the metal and electronics recycling. Like we don't do any disassembly here. I don't know about other areas, but so they don't trust us to do that.
And I mean, even my research said that because it's a small electronic device, it would go to like my hazardous depot and they would deal with it. But we could never get an answer. We couldn't get a correct answer or any kind of real answer about what happens to them after. Like, are these items just discarded because they don't have a protocol for them exactly? Or, you know what I mean? Like because they're not listed in a list of electronic devices. It's just categorized as that.
Right. And in Manitoba, I have a fairly reliable source that's worked in waste and disposal for years. And they contacted somebody that they know that specifically works at an R4 facility. And the answer was, we won't take that. So for me, incredibly frustrating because I think about how many people we have sold something with a lithium ion battery in it. And I think about how much of that waste is going into the landfill. I'm even thinking about, as women in business as we are, how many times does a toy that we have been taking just for presentation purposes, right? We're taking them to events and we're showing people how they work, et cetera, but they end up dying or we end up not carrying it anymore. This item is just sitting here waiting for what, right? So we're not even given any real instruction on how, as a business owner, we're supposed to discard and dispose appropriately. And I find that incredibly irresponsible of our recycling programs.
Well, yeah, and I find it really frustrating that it's not the same across the board here in Canada because we do have, as far as I know, like the same environmental laws and all that stuff from province to province. And we know that lithium going into a landfill is not a good thing. So that's why
Right.
here in BC, where we do tend to be a little more like crunchier that way, there is clear guidelines on it, but it's frustrating that it's not like that across the board.
Right. And I'm finding that increasingly, probably over the last 7 to 10 years, I'm being asked more and more often, my toy broke, I need a new one. How do I dispose of this one? And
Right.
I'm left holding the bag, feeling like a jerk, saying, yeah, I don't know. Because no one will give us a correct answer or even a feasible one.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We should
Yeah,
write our
it's-
MLAs or MPs, in those areas to be like whoever is more in the environmental
Mhm.
arena.
It's incredibly frustrating.
Mhm.
We just happened to get an email yesterday from the California government because we sell within the United States and our wholesaler is in California. So we got an email from them stating, we think that you sell these products that contain lithium ion batteries that are small electronic devices. And now you need to set this up so you could pay for this electronic fee, right?
Mhm.
And if you've ever noticed on your receipts, if you're buying something electronic at Walmart or buying something electronic anywhere, you are generally charged a fee.
When I did my deep dive, like I even went to our local brick and mortar sex toy store and I asked them, what do you do? The owner, what do you
Mhm.
do? Do you have any data on this? We're really looking to figure out how to tell people to ethically dispose of their vibrators, and they had no idea. I find it very frustrating, and I think that you're right. There is a hole. There's a hole in the system here. And again, that statement of not that many people would recycle them anyway, I call bullshit on that, you guys. I think that like I said, people are wanting to be more ethically responsible. We recognize the dangers of the leaching chemicals, the fires, et cetera, that could potentially occur.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's just not, right?
Yeah.
Well, and it wasn't such a big deal when they had batteries in them, like you had to physically put batteries in them. But now that they're all enclosed and fully enclosed with the lithium ion batteries, that's where now we're also being more environmentally conscious. So we're asking those questions now going, right?
Yeah. Well, and here in
Yeah.
BC, the batteries go in the same. They go in the electronic metal recycling. So any dead batteries, like we just have a bin in our garage, and any
Mhm.
cords, batteries, anything electronic or metal. But I did just want to say that, as with any hole, we would like to fill it.
Yes, we would.
Yes,
Yes,
definitely we would. Now, when we looked into proper disposal, the guidance we received was clean it, wash it completely, dry it completely, take it apart. Yes, really. That's what Vicky was told. Manitoba, take it apart.
Not here in
Remove what
BC, though.
materials you not here either. Remove what materials you can. Separate components if possible. So, like, I don't know about you, but the amount of times I've dropped some of these items, they're not coming apart very easy.
No. And what am I cutting into? So I've got a
True.
toy and I'm cutting into what? Wires? Am I at a shock risk? Like, I mean,
Right.
I love a good surprise, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I just don't understand.
I mean, yeah. So, and they're saying bring the recycle the battery only.
Right.
Like, I think the only time I've ever seen one of these batteries is when I had a customer whose dog chewed their vibrator and it was open, and I was like, oh my gosh, like dangerous. Keep
Right.
those away from your pets,
Mhm.
right?
But if we're talking about, these have the ability to leach chemicals, etc., do I want to be handling that? I don't know
No.
what that looks like. Do I want to be cutting into the silicone and
Right.
pulling that out and I think that's out of my wheelhouse, guys.
Well, if you're expected to bring the battery only to a hazardous waste depot, shouldn't they be doing that?
Right.
They're educated. They know what they're doing.
Right. And listen, in Manitoba, I know that we're talking about Manitoba being the problem here because there has been no information, but I'll tell you, I will take one for the team. I will go down to the R4. I will take a handful of toys that I have in my arsenal that are no longer being sold by me, and I'm going to take my presentation items and whatever. It doesn't matter whether they were mine or otherwise. I am happy to do that. But at the end of the day, it really sounds like the guy from the R4 was like, yeah, we're not even going to accept it.
Right. So it's going to end up in the landfill anyway.
Right. And it's mind boggling to me, but
Yeah. So, I mean, there's no clear consumer program.
Mm-mm.
And that's what we discovered. It's different, obviously, from province to province. I
Can
don't
we
know.
talk about the shame that is wrapped around that entire process? When you say, well, no, you can't bring that here. What if I brought that and I was just a regular consumer of vibrators, regular enjoyer, and I decided that I was going to recycle this vibe, and I'm standing in front of somebody that's saying, oh, well, we can't take your vibrator. Right
Right.
now, it would take a lot for one of our clients to just go up to an R4 and be like, I really need to recycle this ethically, to
Mhm.
then be told, oh, well, we won't take that. Ooh.
I wonder too what it would be like if you brought a back massager,
Hmm.
right? Would it be
Mhm.
any different?
Mhm.
Could you just call your vibrators back massagers? I just wonder if that's what the line is. Like it's because it's
Right.
a vibrator when really anything can be a sex toy.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Your
you
toothbrush.
don't know what any item that's in that bin, you don't know what hole it's been stuffed in, even if it's not intended for that hole.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. So I think that there's stigma and shame already placed, especially for women. For the most part, we feel a little, ooh, should we be, whatever. Hopefully you don't after you've been listening and speaking with us. But I think that there is a piece of that, because I even said to my friends, hey, who wants to go to the R4 with me? And they were like,
Well, and you know what? If there was a clear program and people were ashamed, I would gladly take your cleaned,
that's right.
dead vibrators
Yep.
and collect them all and bring them all at once. Like,
Right. I'll have a recycling bag so that
Yeah.
it just goes into a blue bag and we'll just take them with us. And yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
I hear you.
So please, if anybody's listening and they, they have clear answers, they work in one of these depots, help me out because I would love to collect them for people and recycle them.
Yes. And if you're in Manitoba and you have any other answers, please tell me, because I'm going out of my mind.
If you're someone who, like the three of us, could not give a rat's ass about what the person there would say or do, please go do it, because that's the
Mhm.
kind of situation that is going to reduce the stigma for the worker the more they see it. And it's going to in turn help the women who might feel more uncomfortable. We got to do what we can to make it a more comfortable
Mhm.
situation for everyone by going in and doing what other people might consider uncomfortable.
Right.
Well, and imagine how many of these items are in people's hands, right? We've been doing this for how many years? There's tons of sex toy companies, there's tons of online brick and mortar. It's a huge business. So there's so many of these in the landfill, and it just shouldn't be the case.
100%. Because it's just the path of least resistance. I'm just going to toss it in the garbage and forget it existed. Done.
Yeah, exactly. Mhm.
Yeah. Bad news.
The system is definitely not built to succeed. That's for sure.
No, I agree.
I wonder how it would be if mostly men were using vibrators.
We'd have all the solutions, and Cora,
Right?
you know that. But that is a really good point, because we do have lithium ion sleeves and items for men specifically.
Right.
So what are they doing with it? They're just tossing it in the
Mhm.
garbage. They don't care.
Mhm.
Maybe. But if you are an ethically responsible recycler, please tell us what you're doing, because I am dying to know.
Because honestly, if I don't have to dismantle my phone to recycle the battery in it, if I don't have to dismantle a toothbrush that doesn't have a removable battery, why the hell do I have to dismantle
A toy.
a sex toy?
Of course
Mhm.
not.
That makes no sense.
No,
Yeah.
it's true. And again, I think it's a safety issue for the dismantler that has no experience.
Absolutely.
My job was to use it till I lost it, not to dismantle it. I did my part, you do yours. Too funny. So let's zoom out a little bit. We talk about ethical food, ethical fashion, ethical beauty, but we rarely talk about ethical pleasure, especially at the end of a product's life. If we expect consumers to buy better, choose body safe materials, which we talk about all the time, be environmentally conscious, which we hear all the time, then the industry also needs to design for disassembly, or offer take back programs, or create clear recycling pathways for us. Because right now we're asking people to responsibly dispose of products that were never designed to be disposed of responsibly. So there's a big disconnect there. And that Obviously, I'm bothered by it.
I would say that some toy companies are designing them to be
I agree.
disposed of responsibly. It's just that the environmental centers are prudes.
Well, they just haven't caught up yet.
Challenging. It's a challenge, right?
Yeah.
But challenges are meant to be overcome, and that's what we're really good at. So let's get loud.
Do it for Earth Day. Everyone take a vibrator to your recycling depot for Earth Day.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I will take a crew. If anybody wants to go on Earth Day, I'll
Yeah.
be ready to go. We'll meet outside. We will assemble.
Starting an Earth Day vibrator
Yes.
challenge. Let's do it.
Oh, I like that a lot. All right. So moving forward, what can we do? Well, we can buy better, not more. Invest in high quality toys that are going to at least last longer. Choosing rechargeable, but thoughtfully. Less battery waste long term. But consider end of life still, because we want toys that work well, that serve a purpose for us, and that have a longevity. Maintain what you own. We talk about taking care of our toys. So you want to extend your lifespan with proper care. And then, of course, knowing when it's time to let go. And then, of course, recycle when your motor weakens, charging starts to fail, the casing is cracking, if it overheats. Do the best that you can with the options that are available, even if they're imperfect. And I think that we've discussed some ways that we can, but I definitely would suggest that you do some independent research. I would love it. Do you guys have 311 in your cities?
Mm-hmm.
We do. I just learned about it.
That's right. I think 311 is a great place to flood with questions on where should I recycle my lithium ion batteries if they are inside. I would just say that. And then I would say, and if it's inside my vibrator, that's okay too.
Right.
Ooh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I think language is everything. So let's find out what we can and cannot do, and then toss in, and how about my vibrator?
So here in BC, like I said, you throw your vibrators in with your electronic and metal recycling. And earlier this year in January, I was just going through my store and I had probably 20 toys that I haven't sold in 2 to 3 years at least, that were just sitting there that needed to be recycled. So I thought I would be super funny and I put them all in the electronic bin that we have in our garage to take to the electronic depot, and covered them up with the other electronics so it wouldn't be obvious. And in my head, I was going to wait, not tell my husband, and go with him when he did it and just film him. I thought it would be so freaking hilarious. So one day I had a nap, and when I woke up, my husband and my son, who is an adult in his 20s, weren't home. And I texted, I was like, where are you guys? And they're like, oh, we went to do the recycling. And I was like, okay, I thought nothing of it. Until they get home. And my son's like, so Mom, about vibrators. They went to go, it was all in the trunk, in this bin in the trunk, and they were carrying loads up, and you take your load and you put it on this bin, and the guy there looks at it to make sure it's all good to go in, right? There's someone there watching what you do. And my husband was taking a load up, and then my son was grabbing it, and he noticed all these vibrators, which he knew for work. And he's like, Dad. So then they were both trying to sneak, because there was other people there doing their recycling as well. So
Oh my God. I love it.
trying to hide them in their jacket and bring them up and put them on the bin so that no one notices. And I just have to give them both kudos, because first of all, they weren't necessarily embarrassed. It was just a shock that they weren't expecting, but they were just owning it, and they had so much fun with it. It is one of our most hilarious family stories now.
That is great.
Well, and the fact that somebody was there watching and going through and making sure everything was okay to go, clearly it's okay to go in BC.
And my daughter, when we're telling my daughter, who's also in her 20s, the story, she was like, oh, they probably thought you were like an older man, younger man. And my son was like, I I'd rather have them think it was my mom's vibrators.
Right? Yeah.
Totally.
than
Wow.
that.
Oh my gosh. That's
But-
great. Yes, kudos to your husband and your son. I love that they just rolled with it. But I do think that's interesting. Amber said that there was people there that were overseeing the
Yeah.
recycling. And I think that's a really big point, because that's also part of, if we're verbally being told to do one thing and then we get there and somebody's there telling us we can or we can't, which I'm so
Right.
grateful that PC is on top of it. But yeah, love it.
Fascinating.
Hilarious.
I mean, we talk a lot about empowerment on this show. Empowerment in your body, empowerment in your pleasure, empowerment in your choices. But real empowerment also means asking better questions, like, why is it so hard to do the right thing here?
Totally.
Right? Recycling your vibrator shouldn't require tools, research, and guesswork. And until systems catch up, we're all doing the best that we can in a space that hasn't been designed with sustainability in mind. So next time a toy dies mid-session, mourn it, thank it for its service, and then navigate the least worst option available. No shame, no silence, and definitely no pretending this isn't a problem. Just good vibrations and a much needed conversation.
Thanks for filling up a seat at the Taboo Talk Not Safe for Brunch table. If today's episode made you laugh, think, or squirm a little, do us a solid, follow, rate, and leave a review. It's the podcast version of a good tip.
Want more unfiltered conversations? Hit the link in the show notes and sign up for our weekly newsletter. It's the stuff that didn't make it on the air.
Until next time, keep it bold, keep it curious, and definitely keep it not safe for brunch.